Coming up on the Nightly Review, recession fears drive down oil prices, why that might be good news for you. A Grand Forks woman who opposes the new Fufeng corn plant gets a visit from the FBI. And a 4th of July parade turns deadly for a 6-year-old from California. Hello and welcome to the Nightly Review. I'm Steve Hallstrom, in tonight for Tom Tucker. Some breaking news leading our news tonight. This just into our newsroom. A Dodge City, Kansas wrestler who is set to compete for NDSU this upcoming school year has died of an apparent heat stroke. Damian Mendez, who recently graduated, died after a run over the weekend. His mother says he was wearing a sweatsuit at the time. His internal body temperature rose to 107 degrees. Damian's parents and wrestling coach say they never recommended to him that he wear a sweatsuit for training purposes. He was a 3-time state champion who went undefeated his junior and senior years. In other news tonight, oil traders today might have done you a favor at the gas pump tomorrow. Oil prices tumbled in post-holiday trading, with the benchmark WTI price dropping below $100 for the first time in 2 months. Traders blame growing fears of a recession, with rising unemployment and bankruptcies meaning fewer people needing to get around. The ongoing war in Ukraine also remains a factor. WTI spiked to a high of $130.50 per barrel in March. A Grand Forks woman who posted critical comments of the city in regard to the China-based Fufeng corn plant has been visited by the FBI. The Forum reports that Jody Carlson got the visit after a social media post quoting a segment of the Declaration of Independence that law enforcement believed alluded to an overthrow of the government. Authorities ultimately found no cause for concern. Carlson says she's being harassed by the police. One man is in custody after reportedly shooting another man in Fargo on Independence Day. Fargo PD says 22-year-old Kyle Lovas called them early Monday, claiming he had shot someone at his home at the Countryside Trailer Court. The 24-year-old victim was taken to an area hospital with serious injuries. Lovas is being held in the Cass County Jail on a charge of attempted murder. The incident remains under investigation. A 6-year-old California girl is dead after falling off a 4th of July parade trailer in Mandan. The parade was scheduled to start at 10 a.m. Monday, but at 9 a.m. the trailer began moving toward the start of the parade route. The girl fell off and was run over by the trailer. She was taken to a local hospital where she later died. Still no relief in sight for the onslaught of flight cancellations. There have already been more than 2,500 domestic flights canceled today amid the ongoing pilot shortage, and another 500-plus international flights canceled. What's more, there are more than 20,000 flights that have been delayed across the United States. A CBS story today speculated that things might not settle down until after Labor Day. And the worker shortage is also leading to longer wait times at security checkpoints and services in the terminal, like restaurants and gift shops. Ready for the latest ripple in the inflation pond? Abandoned pets. Yes, people nationwide are getting rid of their pets like never before. When people were all home during the COVID pandemic, a pet seemed like a good idea. But then experts say they went back to work and people weren't isolated anymore, didn't need the stress relief. Now those who work in pet shelters say inflation has caused food and medicine prices to jump, and the vet bills are getting higher as well. One shelter executive says more pets are being surrendered right now than she's seen in 3 decades. Well, Minnesotans can now buy THC edibles, but only ones that come from hemp, not the marijuana plant. But is there much difference? Minnesota Public Radio reports that THC derived from hemp is chemically the same. Marijuana and hemp come from the same cannabis plants, though the plants are bred differently, with marijuana plants high in THC and hemp plants very low in THC. THC is the chemical that causes the high of marijuana. North Dakota Game and Fish reports that the amount of wetlands in the state is up 616% from last year, the biggest year-over-year increase on record. High precipitation following last year's drought is responsible for the big change. Game and Fish's annual spring breeding duck survey estimates there are about 3.4 million birds in North Dakota, up 16% from last year, and up 38% from the long-term average. Well, speaking of water, money might be tight right now, but Minnesotans still continue to buy boats. The Star Tribune reports that Minnesota ranks 5th in the country in total marine expenditures. The boating industry's impact in Minnesota between manufacturing and services is huge, $3.1 billion, 10,936 jobs, and supporting 690 marine businesses. Finally tonight, did you know the Twins made Major League history last night?
Now a throw to first will be a triple play.
When Byron Buxton raced to the gap to catch a 7th-inning drive to the fence, it started a triple play. There were men on first and second, so Buxton whipped the ball to third base where Gio Urshela tagged a runner, then ran to second base to step on the bag and threw to first for the triple play. It was the first time, get this, in the history of Major League Baseball, 147 years, that a team turned a center to third base triple play. And oh, by the way, Buxton also homered last night, the 6th straight game against the White Sox that he hit a home run. How about that? Well, there's a lot happening every day in our community, and you want to stay on top of it, so please take a moment to subscribe and hit the bell button below to make sure that you are always up to date. A lot of clouds out there today, but so far fairly rain-free, but will it last? Here's Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki from the Skywatch Weather Center.
Thanks, Steve. While big-time heat builds to our south, we remain with temperatures near normal, but we're right on the edge of that heat dome, and that's going to give us a day-to-day chance for showers and storms this week. Tonight should be mostly quiet, although I do think we'll stand an isolated shower or thunder shower possible after midnight with lows into the low 60s tomorrow. And for Thursday, we're looking at scattered showers and thunder showers throughout the area, with highs both days right around 80, and then 90-degree heat builds in by Saturday.
It could happen to you or someone you love. One moment, one diagnosis can change everything. Thankfully, there's a program that helps caring people uplift families through a crisis. Lend a Hand Up, raising financial help and hope through community benefits and online campaigns. A program that boosts generosity so gifts go further. Lend a Hand Up helps you help your neighbors. Learn more and give at lendahandup.org.
Tonight in our one-on-one conversation, 3 big questions for Ken Satrang, CEO of Petro USA. President Biden has called out gas stations for keeping prices what he says are unnecessarily high. Today's news might help. As we told you earlier, the price of WTI crude oil was down almost 10% on recession fears. I asked Ken how long it might take for those lower market prices to hit the pumps.
You know, the price at the gas station, you have to factor in what we have in the tank. So when the prices go down, if let's say today it goes down 20 cents and we have 1.5 million gallons in our tanks across our trade area, that's a $300,000 hit. If you take 1.5 million times 20 cents is 300,000. So it's going to take a little while for it to go down. Now, when it goes up, it does go up faster. If it goes up 20 cents, everything we have in the tank, 1.5 million, we're going to make 300,000. So it goes up and down. But, you know, contrary to what President Biden has been saying about gas stations making so much money, that's really not the case. Because I would be happy to show any of your viewers who want to come in and look over my audit, I'd be happy to sit down with them and go through it, because in 2021, we made 1.6% profit. And if you take that times the average selling price, which was $2.70 a gallon, that comes out to 4.3 cents profit. And you have to be careful that it's not 4.3%, because 4.3% times $5 fuel is, we're making 20 cents at the end of the year. No, we're making 4.3 cents. And that's the best year we've had in quite a few years. Pre-pandemic, our average price was $2.40, and we were making 1.32%. So that's a total of 3.2 cents per gallon profit. So if President Biden thinks we can drop the price by 20 cents a gallon, I just would like to pass on to people and to President Biden that we're not gouging. You know, we're charging a fair price, as we always have. And patriotic Petro USA is a patriotic business, and we are a little bit offended by saying that we should drop our prices by 20 cents a gallon when we're making 4 cents. So I think we're all doing the best we can to try to keep people employed and provide service.
I also asked him about truckers and companies that burn a lot of fuel. Not easy for them, right?
People that live in Detroit Lakes or Perham and drive into Fargo, that's a major cost to their family. And yeah, the trucks, that's another big cost. A lot of those have fuel price escalators, so it's devastating what not letting the pipelines run and all the restrictions that we're putting on businesses right now, and particularly the petroleum industry. It's costing us big time. Green energy, is probably a good thing over a matter of the next 50 years, but to do it over the next 50 days is probably going to be pretty expensive for the American public.
His company employs hundreds of workers who are feeling the inflation pinch themselves. So I asked him, what's the impact been on his company trying to keep them all happily employed?
For instance, the labor cost, everybody got a 6% raise in March of 2022 because we thought inflation was about 6%. Then now it's 8%, it's probably 10%, but that cost Petro serve about 800,000. We had to close a store in Grand Forks car wash because we couldn't find help up there. We've had to close our convenience stores, a number of them, by 7 p.m. So we had to increase the hourly wage a couple months ago to $14 an hour minimum wage to work the close shift, and that cost us another 7% or about $1 million. And then we increased in order to get employees because the employees had all went on unemployment during the pandemic, got paid $20 an hour to stay home. So for some reason, it was hard to get them to come back to work for 14. That doesn't work very well. But so a lot of them didn't come back. And, we have increased the health insurance by 25% more. So we're paying like 75% of the health insurance. That was another $250,000. And of course, all of those costs, inflationary costs, are going to be passed on to the consumer. So the cents per gallon markup has had to increase a bit. We just can't eat $2 million because we're not making that much markup. So, when you're making 3 to 4 cents at the end of the year profit, you can't eat $2 million.
Satrang says building costs have also skyrocketed. Their new convenience store in Castleton was expected to cost $3 million. The final price tag will be $6.5 million. Well, that'll do it for this Tuesday edition of the Nightly Review. I'm Steve Hallstrom in for Tom tonight. Tom Tucker will be back in tomorrow, and he will see you then. Good night.